Happening now, Governor Cuomo says he's done speaking about the allegations against him, plus the latest on a state probe of a local town's swim program.
Well, it's been a wet go through the morning and much of the afternoon, but is there any signs of warmth and sunshine? We'll talk about it next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
New York's governor is signaling that he's done speaking publicly about the sexual harassment claims made against him in the recent weeks. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Governor Andrew Cuomo spoke with reporters during a telephone conference yesterday, saying he will not take any more questions or make comments on the investigation underway. At least 7 women have accused him of misconduct. This after President Joe Biden announced his stance on the subject, saying Cuomo should not only be removed from office if the claims are found to be true, but face criminal charges as well.
If you committed a crime, you can be prosecuted. That's true. But what President Biden said was we should do an investigation. The question to President Biden starts with, do you think the governor should resign, or do you think there should be a review first? And the president said there should be a review.
Assembly Speaker Carl Heasties has selected a New York City law firm to lead the impeachment investigation into Cuomo. The inquiry is expected to be broad, possibly focusing on the allegations made against him, his administration's handling of nursing home death data during the pandemic, and the Mario Cuomo Bridge. The investigation could lead to impeachment. The state attorney general is also probing Cuomo's alleged behavior. Well, the state comptroller's office has launched an investigation into missing money from the town of Carroll. In a statement to WNY News Now yesterday, a spokesperson for the New York State Comptroller's office confirmed the probe started in October 2020. However, the spokesperson could not comment further while the audit is underway. Now, depending on the complexity of the audit, the spokesperson says it can take 6 months to a year to complete an investigation. In 2017, the then town supervisor announced after 10 years of going unchecked, the town's books revealed thousands of dollars were missing. Specifically, the money was connected to the town's swimming program, which at the time had a stable budget consisting of $16,000 a year. The town initially began an internal audit after noticing deposits for the program were less than half of the money allocated. Late last month, current town officials formally requested WNY News Now reports from the board meeting held in 2017 discussing the matter as evidence for their investigation. Well, lawmakers in Jamestown are taking another run at finding a solution to reduce the city's urban deer population. As WNY News Now's Claire Galt explains, Jamestown's newly established deer management group revisited the issue during a special meeting last week.
And watched 9 deer walk in single file down the sidewalk on Pershing Avenue, heading west to east. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, I had 5, including that doe I mentioned last month that has a broken leg. She with a group of 5 other deer were in our backyard.
There's a consensus among the group that action needs to be taken. However, they are still working to determine which approach is best. During a discussion last week, Ward 6 Councilman Tom Nelson, who heads the committee, discussed a sterilization approach adopted by Cornell University, which Nelson says, despite a costly price tag of $1,200 per buck, yet the problem persisted.
What they found is it didn't work. The bucks kept coming back.
In November, the city council discussed permitting licensed archers to undertake controlled hunts on city-owned property. However, the resolution on the matter was voted down. Nelson notes hunting is not permitted in Jamestown, and deer seem to realize it. The result is what he calls a great nuisance to residents, who fear the animals could spread Lyme disease and cause car accidents. CJ Winward, a biologist who attended the work session, discussed how a similar problem was addressed in northern Philadelphia. Winward explained that for the last 30 years, an experienced group of bow hunters have been tasked with thinning the herd.
Geez, I hate to say it, but it was like a concentration camp of deer. We brought hunters in and we brought our weights up. Now they're in line with what we call cultural carrying capacity. There's still too many deer, but they're manageable right now.
Another biologist who spoke to the council, Ryan Rockefeller, addressed instituting a bait and shoot program. Rockefeller noting deer damage permits have been issued to at least half a dozen New York State municipalities, mostly in Erie County. He added that a program is feasible for Jamestown and may be necessary to curtail the population.
It may be something you need to look at least to get things steered in the right direction.
Despite his advice, not all agree that lethal measures are the best way to go. Nelson noted the continued reluctance by some council members and the city's police chief to pursue the route. If lethal procedures were adopted, he says timing would be a major factor for many council members.
From a council standpoint, I think waiting till later would be more palatable to the council members who, would rather see, okay, our parks are closed now and there's less likely people out there.
Nelson says the next step should be to talk to the police chief and other members of the city council, as well as the residents of Jamestown.
We really need to talk about educating the public on it, and we'll have to fine tune this.
Claire Galt, WNY News Now.
Claire, thank you. The group plans to meet again in mid-April. Well, so far, nearly 30,000 people living here in Chautauqua County have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, with over 14,000 getting the series. So, say you got it. What can you do safely now? Well, according to the CDC, you can enjoy small gatherings again, but should continue to wear that mask and social distance in public places. The agency also says fully vaccinated people can gather maskless with others indoors. It also says you can meet with unvaccinated people from one household at a time, as long as those people are considered to be low risk of severe COVID illness. Now, in public, the CDC recommends that vaccinated people continue to wear masks, avoid large gatherings, and stay apart from others. A person is considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after receiving the last required dose of it. Guidance on other activities for vaccinated folks remains cautious. The CDC still discouraging unnecessary travel, for example, and hasn't yet made a recommendation about going to restaurants or other places yet. We'll, of course, keep you posted. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now as we get a check of some local news headlines this afternoon. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. I got the tablet nearby. Always love to hear what you have to say. Great to see Pam. Good to see Corey, Lisa, Dave, Mary, Joseph, Rod, and Topsy as well. Happy Wednesday to all of you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Well, now let's switch gears and get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by with that. And Dakota, it's a little bit different than it was yesterday out there. Still not super cold, but definitely a lot more wet.
Yes, it is. It's a lot more wetter than it was yesterday because we've got some rain showers falling. This is a new camera that just came online. This camera is located on top of the Marriott Hotel at the Erie Bayfront, and you can see the light tower there and the camera shaking a little bit in the wind. 37 right at the waterfront, but look at that northeast wind of 17 miles per hour. And this has been pretty much almost steady kind of light rain that's been moving through the area this morning. Now, where you see the yellows in here kind of coming up in the time lapse here, the yellow is kind of like right in there and right there. I'm not so confident that that's moderate rain. I'm thinking that's actually maybe some light ice pellets that are starting to mix in as well. But yeah, the rain is going to continue through much of the afternoon, and it shouldn't get too much further north than where it is now. You see it actually starting to move back to the south a little bit. So it's going to be a day of rain, and then it changes to something else later tonight. We'll talk about that later on. 59 was the high yesterday. 39 is where we started the day. 79 back on this day in 2012 broke the record high. So scattered to widespread rain showers changes to wet snow later in the day, but that's towards sunset, and sunset comes up at 7:27 by the way tonight. So around 7 o'clock expected to change over to some light snow showers, becoming blustery, 38 to 45. Look at this wind increasing to 15 to 30 miles an hour with wind gusts near 40. Tomorrow is going to be a nice day with lots of sunshine, and then up goes the temperatures. We'll talk about where they're heading with that 42 degrees and sunny 7-day forecast later in the show. Justin?
We'll certainly take it, Dakota. Thank you. Well, starting next month, New York State will lift the 11 p.m. curfew currently in place for places like casinos, movie theaters, bowling alleys, billiard halls, gyms, and fitness centers. State leaders say that change will take effect April 5th. The 11 p.m. curfew for bars and restaurants, though, is still in place. It will remain in effect for the time being. The state is evaluating both now and will have an announcement on them in April. Now, as of this Monday, the final 5 yellow zone clusters that were in place downstate are going away. The state is also administered its 7th million COVID-19 vaccine. 16 new pop-up sites will be opening this week, including one near Buffalo. Meanwhile, new fears about COVID-19 variants are raising more concerns as states lift restrictions. As Nadia Romero reports, Congress is holding a hearing asking national health experts about efforts to vaccinate Americans.
A small group marched in a largely virtual celebration of the world's biggest St. Patrick's Day parade in New York City. A pop of green outside the White House comes with a firm message from the Biden administration discouraging large gatherings.
Masks, distancing, avoiding congregate settings, and washing of hands.
The latest data from Johns Hopkins University shows COVID-19 cases at least 10% higher than last week in 15 states. But still, overall numbers are down in the country. The same data shows at least 10% of the adult population fully vaccinated in all states, despite vaccine shortages.
We're working through that supply constraint, and I think in the weeks ahead, that supply constraint will diminish. And then we're really going to need to do the hard work, as you note, to work towards getting vaccine in places that it hasn't touched yet.
The House holding a hearing asking Biden administration health experts about vaccine distribution. One lawmaker on that House committee, Dr. Raul Ruiz, frustrated by challenges.
The greatest factor in those communities is not whether or not they want the vaccine, it's the systemic barriers that exist where you have very few doctors, very few clinics, and you have decreased resources.
And now a rush to get shots in arms as COVID-19 variants spread. With St. Patrick's Day and spring break bringing out the crowds, Fauci calling variant spread one of the most concerning developments in the pandemic. In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
Nadia, thank you. The variants of concern include 2 versions of the virus discovered in California and the one first found in the United Kingdom. Next, hear an update on when you could get your stimulus check if you haven't already. And later, Dakota's back with a full look at our weather forecast. When will the sun return? Stay with us on this rainy Thursday afternoon.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Remember when you were a kid, huddled around the television waiting for your school to close? Well, we don't get snow days. When winter weather hits, count on the First Defense Weather Team for a look into the future where the snow is headed next. Live radar showing you the scope of the storm. And real-time reports from the field. So when it matters most, stay with First Defense Weather.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Honest John's has what you're looking for. When you want it good, we're gonna give you lots more.
From freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has what you're looking for. And now 2 great locations, East 2nd Street and Fairmount Avenue. Order takeout or delivery today, online at honestjohns.pizza.
You're gonna get it good at Honest John's.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
On this vote, the yeas are 244. The nays are 172. The bill is passed.
The U.S. House of Representatives voted in favor of renewing the Violence Against Women Act, which had previously expired. The new bill calls for grant funding and additional support aimed towards preventing and combating sexual assault, domestic violence, and other related issues. A fact sheet from the House Judiciary Committee also says the bill expands assistance and services for assault victims and survivors. President Joe Biden is a supporter of the reauthorization. Republican Senator Joni Ernest of Iowa says the GOP is working on a bill that, quote, will be different from the House version. Well, the first batch of stimulus payments has gone out. About 90 million of them have been distributed so far. The first group to get the money includes people who provided direct deposit information to the IRS's recent tax returns or on an IRS website. About 150,000 paper checks have also been mailed. In all, about $242 billion have been paid out. Individuals earning less than $75,000 and married couples making up less than $150,000 get the full amount, $1,400 each. You can use the Check the Status of Your Payment tool on the Get My Payment page of the IRS website. That's irs.gov. Well, all eyes are on Georgia after 3 deadly shootings at spas in the Atlanta area. Most of the victims there, Asian women. As Britt Conway reports, this tragedy is only adding to the fear Asian Americans around the country are already facing because of COVID-19 discrimination.
People around the world are talking about what happened here. Shootings at 3 spas in metro Atlanta. 8 people are dead and 6 were Asian women. Police say suspect Robert Aaron Long told them the shootings weren't about race. They were about eliminating sexual temptation. But Georgia officials are investigating whether the shootings can be prosecuted as hate crimes. Either way, it's adding to outrage and anxiety over rising violence against Asian Americans. Advocacy group Stop AAPI Hate reports receiving almost 3,800 complaints from mid-March 2020 through February.
Many of my family members are living in fear.
I think the rhetoric from our previous administration was definitely the catalyst for all of this.
Here's what this administration has to say.
We stand with you and understand how this has frightened and shocked and outraged.
President Joe Biden is instructing officials to hold listening sessions in Atlanta. And on this issue, people have a lot to say, from politicians in Georgia.
I think this country has a reluctance to admit that there is very real and deep-rooted systemic racism that does result in violence.
To governors of other states, former President Barack Obama, advocates.
A lot of Asian Americans who are looking over their shoulders when they go outside, when they go to the grocery store.
And foreign leaders, all pleading for change. I'm Britt Conway, reporting.
Britt, thank you. The discussion continuing on Capitol Hill today when the House Judiciary Committee holds a hearing on discrimination and violence against Asian Americans. And President Biden and Vice President Harris will be in Atlanta tomorrow. Well, this is interesting. Tide Detergent is encouraging cold water washing to save not only money, but the planet too. Tide plans to launch its Turn to Cold Water campaign soon. The goal is for consumers to do 3 out of every 4 loads of laundry with cold water instead of hot by 2030. If the goal is met, Tide says it will have the same impact on greenhouse gas emissions as removing about 1 million cars from the roads. It will also save you some money, up to $150 a year in energy costs if you wash with just cold. Tide will partner with apparel brand Hanes for the new push. Got to keep those tighty whities clean. They say Hanes will feature wash in cold call to action on its packaging, along with Tide's pod samples and coupons. The campaign is expected to launch in the coming weeks. Let us know what you think about that. More in the comments down below. We always love hearing from you. And today, Dakota, a lot of people maybe could do their laundry outside with the rain coming down. You're not going to, they say if you hang laundry, I do that sometimes in my house actually, where we just have like a clothes dryer. Sometimes we just hang it on back of doors and stuff. It works all the same, but where you don't have something in the dryer because it A, sometimes shrinks things, and B, better for the environment if you don't use the power, so they say. But you're not going to want to hang stuff outside today because it is wet out there.
Yeah, and I have been, my family has been forward thinking on the cold water washing for years.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for years.
Yeah,
I mean, there is really, in today's day and age with the detergent getting much better, there is really no reason to wash in hot water.
Right, because I know they say that breaks it down
whites,
sometimes a little better, but really,
right,
there's so much soap in there anyways. Your clothes are clean.
Because, there has been a thing like, if you wash whites and whatnot, you should wash them in hot water. But that's debatable. But for normal washing, there's no reason to wash in hot water. We wash in cold all the time.
Storm says he almost always uses cold water.
Yes,
so
exactly.
There we go. We're one step ahead of them.
Yes.
Saving the planet and saving
Jamestown's
us
one
a little
step
money.
ahead, folks.
Woo!
Let
Finally,
us know. Yes.
We're ahead on something.
Yeah, finally, we're ahead. The one thing we're not on ahead of, speaking of which, is the snowfall. We've had 57.7 inches of snow for this season. That is down 32.3 inches. That's our current snowfall deficit. And the good or bad news, depending on which way you want to look at this, is I don't think there's a whole lot much more snow left of the season. So that's good or bad, depending on which way you want to look at it. It's bad if you're a skier or a snowboarder because, the season's coming close to an end. Peak and Peak is closed today because of the weather conditions. Cockaigne has officially closed for the season. Mount Pleasant and Edinburgh has closed, but Holiday Valley and Hollymont are still open for today. Get in if you haven't got in this season, or just enjoy one more last ride because the season is going to be coming to an end very, very soon. We've seen a few raindrops on the HD News Now cam that's downtown right now. We're at 38 as a noon hour. Rain being reported at the airport. Breezy, northwest wind of 13, and we still have some fog out there. 5-mile visibility is the current visibility out there with some of the rain. The radar shows you that it's basically just kind of widespread light rain. Again, as I told you earlier, these yellow patches you see right here normally would be indicative of moderate rain. I'm not confident that it's moderate rain. I'm thinking there's a little bit of ice pellets possibly mixing in here as well. And ice is highly reflective, so it tends to have a higher reflectivity value on the radar. This is the storm system that threw all of the severe weather down in the deep south. Confirmed tornadoes down there. We're on the northern fringe of it. We're in between the warmer air to the south and the colder air to the north, and ultimately that colder air is going to win out. The severe weather continues to push east. There's now a moderate risk. That's a level 4 out of 5 for portions of North and South Carolina. So if you know anybody in Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Jacksonville, Fayetteville, Florence, let them know on that because there could be more tornadoes yet to come down there. But around here, no severe weather, but it's going to be a wet afternoon. You see Future Scan painting the idea of rain showers through the afternoon. As the colder air works in from the north, notice it switching over to some light snow showers. This is mainly going to be wet snow showers, so the accumulation should be relatively minor, if anything. Clouds will actually start to break apart as we go through the overnight, and look at tomorrow. Lots of sunshine tomorrow, mostly sunny skies tomorrow, but it's still going to be chilly, and it's not until the weekend we actually start to warm up a little bit. So additional snowfall accumulations, insignificant, less than a half inch in most spots. You might get up to an inch in maybe some spots of northwestern Pennsylvania, but that's going to be further east and south. Everybody across the southern tier, less than a half inch, if anything. So it's not who cares kind of snow. So through the afternoon today, this is likely where we're going to top out in the inland areas, maybe 43 around Jamestown, 45 in Randolph. As often is the case, the cooler spots will be the valleys there where you'll see a rain and snow later in the afternoon. The next 7 days of your life are coming up right now. 39 tomorrow, windy and colder. Look at the weekend, 53, 58. That's an A-plus weekend. And in the words of Tim McGraw, I like it, I want it, I want some more of it. For next week, sunshine and 60s. We'll take a break, be right back. First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smoking deals on smoking accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Sorry about that. No, I've been staying at my dad's place because of everything.
Where are we going?
He's good. Yeah, I know, we keep missing each other. I've been working out of my dad's house, doing some reading. I should be working out more. I just feel like I'm drowning.
Navigating these times can be tough, but while you care for your loved one, you also need to care for yourself. Go to aarp.org/caregiving for free mental health and self-help tips.
It's not just what we say, it's what we do.
Local first. It isn't just our slogan. It's our mindset every single day. So whether you're watching our daily live streams or staying up to date with reports on our website and mobile app, you'll always see the same attention to detail from reporters who passionately care about our community, who have one goal in mind: to always put the facts first.
For me, it's more than just getting the forecast right. What I love the most about my job is that I come into work every day to help break down the weather, letting people know how this is going to impact their day. We take pride that First Defense Weather is the only local weather team in the Southern Tier. We don't just copy and paste our weather from outside sources. Every part of our forecast is handmade right here in-house, something our team really takes pride in.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Finally here today, Dictionary.com has added 600 new words to its lineup. Two of those words are supposedly and finna. The site defines finna as a contraction of fixin' to, meaning getting ready to do something. Dictionary.com defines supposedly and may be assumed, imagined, or supposed. It's often used when the speaker intends to use supposedly, which usually means allegedly. Interesting. Let us know what you think about that and more in the comments down below. Certainly lots of new words that, we all use different slang every now and then. You got different dialects, and you even have them here in Western New York, right? They have what's called the nasal A, if you've ever heard about that, that we're famous for. So I've never heard of finna before, but yes on supposedly. So I can see why the two get mixed up.
You see, I have a comment, but I'm afraid to make it because it'll probably get me in trouble.
It's just us.
Yeah, it's just us girls. Should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Not my job.
Yeah, I know you don't care. But,
The controversial weatherman. Get ready.
Yeah, it's, the fact that we have to add supposedly to the dictionary kind of shows how bad we know the English language. Because supposedly really is not a word.
I suppose
And the fact that we had to make it a word because so many people say it, it is, it's like, I don't know. You mentioned about, regional diction and dialect and whatnot. It's like there's different pronunciations of the word hairy. Like Harry as in Italians were Harry, and then there's Harry, the name.
Right.
And supposedly there is two different pronunciations in the dictionary. There's Harry, and then there's Harry, which is like car, That's kind of how you say it. It's supposed to be two different pronunciations, but nobody says it that way. It's Harry and Harry.
At the end of the day, people are going to say what they're going to say, and as long as you understand them, it's not the perfect English. I know a couple of people in my family who are really sticklers about speaking and speaking correctly, and they'll call you out about it. So.
And school districts and educators wonder why our ELA scores are...
Right. At least our weather scores are going up the next couple of days.
Yeah, that's
true. Just got to get through tonight.
Yeah, that's true. 20 to 25 tonight, evening snow showers and overnight, but it's still going to be windy. Expect some wind gusts, possibly near 40 miles an hour tonight, Justin.
See, and I just used a word that's not right. I said like tonight, but I kind of slurred it. I said coming up, I didn't say tonight. I said like tonight. And maybe that's just not speaking correctly.
Okay.
I need to emphasize more.
Yeah.
Emphasis. Is that a word?
Emphasis.
That's going to do it for us, of course. News 24/7 WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over Chautauqua Lake. It's wet out there. If you're out on a boat today, probably not a good idea
Get
for
in
it. The
port.
ice, look, the ice is melting too. That's a pretty cool shot. We're back tomorrow for our TGIF edition. Be sure to join us then. We'll be live with our pet of the week. We got 2 pets.
Uh-oh.
2 pets. That's a double dose of trouble.
It's a twofer.
Yeah, they're baby kittens too.
Oh boy.
That's what I'm hearing, so it's going to be fun. See you then.